This is a frame knitting machine. It's producing this, a knitted oblong piece here. Eventually, that can be sewn together to produce hosiery, much favoured by the ladies and gentlemen. It's a simple principle, same as knitting. You're interlocking loops. These loops are held on these needles. There's a very interesting adaptation to these needles, and that's kind of the secret of the machine, really. They can be closed. So you can add yarn, close it, and pull it through another loop behind, so it hangs. It's a series of hanging loops. You add thread, use the presser bar here to close the loops, and add another set of loops, another row, backwards and forwards like that. Simple principle, ingenious machine. So ingenious, I can't actually do it.
Luckily, Miller here is on hand to show how it's done. He's been doing it for 19 years now, so he's nearly got the hang of it. Whereas a good knitter could knit 100 stitches a minute, a competent frame knitter, that's Miller, not me, could do 600.
And this is what was produced on these machines. Fine hosiery. In fact, it could be very fine indeed. If you knew what you were doing, this is the sort of work that was possible. Complex and beautiful patterns. Just showing off, really. Ironically, the Reverend Lee's machine wasn't used by women. His beloved would never have used it. It took quite a lot of strength to manhandle the frame, so it became man's work. Soon, entrepreneurs started building factories to house the stocking frames. Like this one here in Ruddington in Nottinghamshire. This collection of buildings, the housing, the outhouses, there was even a pigsty, and these frame knitters' workshops with their high, long windows to let in light were all built together in one piece around 1820. There was, no doubt to the Reverend William Lee's delight, a chapel also to keep the workers on the straight and narrow. It's very picturesque. But do not be fooled, because this is most definitely a factory. One of the first factories, and they would set employer against employee. It was a radical change in clothing production, from the home into industrial units, and factory bosses would buy the stocking frames and lease them back to the knitters or pay wages. It was not a smooth transition from home to factory. Knitters were proud of their skills, and formal apprenticeships kept standards high, but the power now lay with the employers, who, desperate to undercut opposition, employed poorly trained workers. The knitters took their employers to court, to little effect. So, under the mythical leadership of one General Ludd, well-organised gangs of knitters smashed the frames of any employers who broke the law. No more chant your rhymes of old Robin Hood, whose feats I no longer admire. I'll sing the achievements of General Ludd, now the hero of Nottinghamshire.